On the phone by Joe, and country singer, originally for some time. Welcome to the show, Sarah Lenore. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, and yourself? And thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I love it.
Well, perfect. All right, so let's get this interview started. So, the last time we spoke, you just moved, or you had recently just moved to Florida, I'd assume so. And I wanted to ask, and this is a lingering question that I didn't ask, which is now, I guess, sort of, what is Florida going to help do to help your career more as an artist, especially because you're a country artist? I think most people would assume that now.
Right. Well, I am, the music industry is changing. It's ever-changing, and major labels aren't always the best option, and in some cases, through back doors and out to get their career started. So, for the past 3 years, I've been pounding and working, and having great reviews from all major labels. But it's not all about just signing with a major label. Like I said, I actually found some more independent labels who were kind of more interested, and I found some other ways to get noticed by Nashville, which is not starting in Nashville. If that makes sense. You have to be different. You have to be refreshing. You have to be unique. So if you come in with a team of people and a group of people that nobody knows, that's secretive and undercover, Nashville kind of looks at you like, wow, who is this girl and who are all these people with her? So have like a team of people from, all these other places, Nashville people and that team, of course, and they kind of looked at me differently, like, this girl knows what she's doing. She's kind of doing a backwards route to get in the industry. So sometimes sticking in Nashville and being there 24/7 and visiting all the labels, it's too much, and they can get kind of annoyed. So I started to just kind of look elsewhere and look for other ways. And I don't know, the band Perry, I don't know if you know of them. They were nominated for Grammys this year. They're on Big Machine's label, and that's with Taylor Swift. And they actually came from, I think, New York. They started in New York as a country band, and Nashville took notice and was like, wow, I want to work with these people. And that's just becoming more and more and more known. So I recorded my record in Nashville, LA, and Miami. And, of course, I love Miami. Who wouldn't? So I decided to stick around. And now that I go in and out of Nashville, people kind of perk up more and then listen more. Things, new ideas. The record is different than Nashville because it's not all made in Nashville. This is changing, and you have to change with the business. So it's a good thing, though.
How difficult, then, is it to just solely focus on your music career when, obviously it's a tough time for everybody? We talked about this in the last time you were on the show with there being a tough time in jobs. How difficult is it to just focus solely on your career, knowing that it's a big risk? Obviously, it's kind of hit or miss, right? So how hard is it?
That's so crazy. I've never been asked that question, and it's so easy for me to answer. It's because I don't know anything else. I don't know how to not only focus on my career, if that makes sense. I am eat, breathe, and sleep music and my career. So, I've been singing since literally out of the womb. So it's all I know. I don't do anything else. I have no other talents at all. Since I was 16, I've been doing this 24/7, wholeheartedly. Tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow I'm going to make it. This opportunity is my big chance. No, this opportunity is, okay, this door closed. This window's open. This has got to be it. No, that didn't work. Dang it. Okay, I'm going to take this road. It's just every day is like a new adventure, but it's all I know. So I have no problem with it. It's not like, of course it's a huge risk, but it's not like a huge sacrifice or like miserable experience. It just it's just my life, and it's all I know. So that's why I'm praying to God it works out, because I don't know what else I'm going to do if this doesn't work.
Now then, being an independent artist and an unsigned artist, how do you manage to interact with your fans? And I mean, obviously social media is a big part of being an artist these days, and you have to really keep in touch with the fans, or at least make an effort to sort of be aware that they exist. How much of it, or let me phrase this in a better term, how often or how do you engage with your fans, and what do you do to be different than other artists?
I mean, of course, the biggest answer is what you said. Facebook and Twitter, I'm always doing things on and promoting. I actually just started to work on a new music video where I'm asking people to send in videos of themselves to put, because, of course, everyone wants a cool idea to get people involved. So, I'm also getting asked by a few different organizations to do, like, their theme songs for different causes. So I started to do some of those routes to really get myself out there, and that's been really, really cool as well. But Twitter and Facebook, of course, are my go-tos. And I some little videos of, like, behind the scenes, because I've noticed that people, even myself, watching other artists, I like to watch them when they're all pretty and perfect in front of the camera, see what happens before that, and all the hard work that goes involved. So I started to do a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff, and those YouTube videos get a lot more hits. That's an idea. But being different, that's a good question, because I know I'm a girl that sings country with her guitar. So what I noticed that stood out was my record. The whole Nashville record, very refreshing. I have a Latin producer who's very big in the Latin market, produced my record. So that kind of added a flavor of a different kind of style of music. And everyone that responded very well and responded with, this is refreshing, it's very different, keep doing what you're doing, this is great. So I think the thing that makes me great is the sound of my music.
Now then, that we've sort of gotten to know more, I guess, a bit about you on a career side, let's get to know a little bit more about you, sort of on a personal side, but in a fun way. I mean, don't take that the wrong way by any means. As a person, what other things, I mean, obviously music is your passion, but what other things does Sarah Lenore like to do in her free time besides interacting with her fans and singing and writing and doing all the stuff that goes along with being an artist? What are those things out there that Sarah Lenore enjoys doing?
I enjoy running. I love working out, not because I feel I need to or I'm obsessive. I really enjoy the stress reliever. My dad is a huge runner. He even runs marathons and all that stuff. So I'm not that good, but I really enjoy running. And I think my second favorite thing ever happens to be my dog. I have a Yorkie, the Lyric, and he's looking at me because he knows I'm talking about him right now. And this puppy is my life. He's my world. Music and Lyric, my puppy, my life. So he helps me. He's a stress reliever too.
Well, it's a fitting name for him too.
Isn't it cute? He's the cutest thing ever.
Now, what has been your favorite thing about Miami? And don't say the weather.
Are you kidding me? It rains every day in the summer.
Well, you'll enjoy it more in the winter, I'm sure.
Yes. From being from Detroit, yes. My favorite thing, which I had to get used to, was kind of all the different people that you meet. And I mean that in a way of like, in Miami, I'm like, 1 out of 10 people will speak English. So I've met so many different people from so many different places and different countries that do different things in their careers, and it's just like a whirlpool of different people. I mean, you walk into and I'm hearing Spanish, French, people from Switzerland. I mean, everywhere, and then you hear a little bit of English. So it's kind of overwhelming at first, but I got really used to it, and I enjoy it. I love it so much. I feel like I'm getting more culturized and opening my mind more and learning about other countries and other things that happen in the world. So I definitely like that about Miami, because obviously in Detroit or Nashville, you don't get much of that.
Understandable, of course. Now, how's that cultural experience, which is pretty common up here in Toronto? So it's interesting to actually hear that from an artist where that's not common, because it's sort of normal here too. I mean, it's a diversity in Toronto, so it's in a good way. It's a good thing. How has that helped you? Has that helped you, I should say, in your career at all, or do you think that will help you in your career?
Yeah, already music isn't that popular here, so when people, really enjoy it. To Nashville, you may hear a lot of it. So I definitely get kind of a bigger buzz in this area, and also it's really helped my Spanish. So I've actually done some Spanish backgrounds on some records, and I've started to do some translations for songs, writing from Spanish to English, to do some extra hobbies and to further myself in my career. So I think learning Spanish has been pretty awesome.
Actually, to you next, and that is, have you started trying to do other than country? Like, wanted to branch out to a different genre?
I've never been like, I'm only singing country music. This is where my heart is. I mean, come on, I'm from Michigan. It's not very yeehaw up there. But I loved country growing up, and that's all I listened to. So I kind of just naturally got like a twang. Like, Nashville is the best place to go for country. Country contemporary is pop music with country is pop and pop is country. I mean, Taylor Swift is on. I hear Ludacris, and then the next song I hear is Taylor Swift. Yeah. So it's definitely like a crossover market. So I have no problem doing country and or pop, but it stops there. I'm no hip hop person or anything like that.
Would you ever try to incorporate, then, now that you talk about Spanish, and you sort of alluded to it, would you ever try to incorporate Spanish into a country song? Because has it ever been done?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's on YouTube. I sang in Spanish, actually. It's pretty crazy. That's a good idea. I never thought of it. I don't want to fake it, though. I don't want to be like that girl who thinks she's great at Spanish and just starts like randomly singing country Spanish.
Right.
But I would definitely collaborate with somebody who can sing Spanish.
I think there's a guy named Pitbull. I think he's from Florida. You should give him a call.
There you go. Definitely. I understand it all, so that's good.
All right, so we've talked a bit about you sort of as a person and your career. What about you? What about your experiences from Michigan? I know we touched on this last show, but what about your experiences from Michigan? I mean, I've only heard the one song that we play regularly on the show, and I have gone through some of your other stuff on YouTube. How much more of, and I sort of alluded to this again last show, but how much of your experience in Michigan do you really put into your music or into your writing or maybe into wherever you go as a person?
I mean, everything. I've only been in for 3 years, 4 years, so everything I do now and I've learned, and the person I am now is from Michigan. So far so good. I was very close. I lived very close to my grandparents and my parents as well. So I grew up in kind of a very close-knit, loving family, and a great childhood and a great growing up, and learned all my morals and all my values and learned how to use them. And I celebrated their 25th anniversary a few weeks ago. So
congratulations.
I was very thankful for the way I was brought up and where I was. It made me who I am today. I think I'm pretty cool so far. So it's definitely worked. As for the writing, I just kind of, developed that on my own, and it kind of got better as soon as I. And I don't know if Michigan has anything to do with that, but it was, my writing kind of sucked in the beginning when I was younger, I'm sure. But as soon as I picked up a guitar and tried learning, that's when the writing really developed. But I did a lot of that in Nashville. As soon as I moved to Nashville, it's all you do is write, day and night, 24/7. It's a total writing town. I know it's a music town, but it's full of writers, just as much as musicians. So I definitely did a lot of my writing in Nashville.
What point did you in your career sort of realize that maybe not that this is it, this is what I want to do, but that you sort of realized yourself and said, I am going to be something big, or, I'm going to take that next step and sort of push myself. I'm sort of asking this before you got onto America's Got Talent, but when did you sort of realize that, other people are noticing me and I'm doing something really great? That moment of realization.
I don't know if you believe me, but I think I would say when I was 8, when I was on Broadway, it was an unbelievable, overwhelming experience of I have to do this for the rest of my life, no matter what, and nothing will stop me. Because I had this goal, I had these aspirations since a little kid, and I've taken one path my whole life. I never got into the weird teenage phases or the drinking or the drugs or all these things that kids go through a lot, and I had and things that I needed. I always took the same path, and so far it's led me to this place. So I think a long time ago when I was 8, definitely I knew it then.
Have you ever considered, and this is sort of going back a little bit, but have you ever considered taking your trade and trying it internationally? And I mean that in a way where, like, have you ever considered maybe going to another country and performing, making appearances or doing that sort of thing to sort of establish yourself maybe outside of America?
Totally. I have no problem with that at all. Book me. I'll go. Totally, of course.
What advice would you give to someone who's, a young, aspiring, possibly country singer? Maybe they don't know, but preferably just in general a country singer or a singer. What advice would you give them regarding the music industry, and what would you say to them that to do differently that maybe you didn't do, or something that you did that you wish you'd have done differently?
And I've been following it, and I think it's if you have a good gut feeling, and was always right, and always trust your gut. When you're in the business, there's a lot of sharks, a lot of red flags, and a lot of people beautiful, and you're going to make it, and I'll make you a star. And some are true, and some are not. Weed them out, and it gets sometimes cluttered, but I've always followed my gut, no matter what, and it hasn't led me wrong, and it's been very difficult to walk away from some offers that I would assume a lot of girls would have gone and signed right away, and a lot of guys would have signed right away, and I walked away from, and I have a handful of those experiences, and they've been the best decisions. So I would definitely, don't offer it, if you do, you're going to do it, and it's going to happen, but, be very, very smart about it, and I've been learning, even as everyone shuts a door, a window will open. I promise, people said, I promise. I've had a lot of doors shut, but there's always like a tiny crack of a window at the end of the tunnel. There's light. There's totally light. I've had many experiences where a door shut, and I thought, oh, this is the end of my life. This is the end of my career. I'm gonna be nobody. And 48 hours later, I have something new and exciting. And you just have to you have to be willing to work hard. Right choices as an artist and as a person. You know, you have to be a person that people want to work with. There's a lot of pretty talented people out there, but if you're different, if you're nice, you know, if you're nice, you know, people will want to work with you more. I even had the best compliment a few months ago of someone saying, you know, you carry yourself so well in business meetings, and they were so surprised. They said, we want to work with you. Like, we're not afraid when you open your mouth to speak. Like, you know how to speak. And I thought, that's so crazy. Like, what kind of, you know, young woman doesn't know how to speak? Why would you be nervous? But it's those kind of compliments. You know, people want to work with you because you're nice, or you can. So those things really matter. It's not all about the talent or the music. It's not all about the music, unfortunately, or the look. So you have to kind of have all those stars aligned for you.
My second final question then for you tonight is it harder being a female in the music industry?
Oh, what a question. Tricky. I think for me, in my experience of country music in Nashville, it's a little bit more difficult. I think, you know, there's a lot more females than males trying to make it in Nashville. And of course, you know, I've had that excuse, you're a blonde female, you know, how are we going to, you know, my answer to that is it's A or B. I'm either a boy or a girl. I'm not a boy, so I'm sorry that I'm a girl. And secondly, you know, you can only red in between. So if I have to change my hair color, I don't think it's going to touch the way I sing. But that's kind of been over. I've even had people joke about it. I wish you weren't a girl. You know, there's so many girls. But I mean, what are you gonna do? There's nothing I can do about that at all. I can dye my hair. That's can't change the fact of being a girl. It has hindered. It's been kind of difficult. That's why you have to be different. You have to be different.
Has there anything that you've done to sort of, I mean, you just said you have to be different, but is there anything that you've said when people have said, well, you know, you're a girl and you're blonde, what are we going to do? That, or what has been your approach when they sort of say that you're a country singer?
I open my mouth and sing while I play my record. And once that happens, nobody has ever mentioned you're just a blonde singer. Nobody. So it's kind of a facade. You know, when you walk in the room, it's the eye roll. Oh, no, another young go. And as soon as, you know, I open the CD on, everyone is quiet. So that's good for me.
Final question for tonight is, what does the future hold for you? I asked you this, I think, 2 weeks ago, but I want to ask you again, what does the future hold? Or what are you doing per se right now that's recent? Will there be any songs that will be coming out, or will we be able to get a chance to hear new stuff? I mean, you mentioned the YouTube video and people being able to send in their own YouTube videos for your music video. Coming week, do we expect to see you singing a national anthem somewhere in Florida? What could we be expecting from Sarah Lenore?
Now I am looking at putting my record out independently, and I mean every 24 hours is a new or different update with that. So that's definitely my goal right now. But the anthem at the Dolphins game in Florida on September 1st. It'll be fun.
I'm a huge Dolphins fan, so that's awesome.
Some different organizations, of course, and that's kind of taken up some time, and it's been really fun so far. But I'm really focused on getting the record out. So as soon as I have more info, I'll let you know.
Sounds good, and as I just said earlier, sorry, it's a little bit phone, at least in my headset, but yeah, I'm a big Dolphins fan, so I'll try to watch it.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they air it,
but hopefully there's a YouTube video or something. I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, you know me. I'll have it on Facebook within 3 hours.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to this interview before we let you go?
No, just thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being interested and talking and playing the music. I really appreciate it. It helps me. It helps me a lot.
If you have any more, you could just send them. Great stuff. Like I said, I'm personally not a big country fan, but and I think a lot of listeners out there like it too. So hopefully, if you have more, we'd love to play as much as we can for you.
Perfect. I'll definitely send you more then. I will do that.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. That is Sarah Lenore from Detroit, Michigan.